amazing evening to you, Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. Good evening and welcome to the show. My name is Precious Inye. Of course, you know that this is where Nigeria's finest conversation takes place every evening. If you are not here with us every evening, if you're not conversing with us, you're not talking with us every evening, then I don't know what you're doing with your time. You may just be sitting on a long thing. Yeah, I told you before, my name is Precious Enyi. This show is being produced by Promise Enyi. All right. So let me let you in quickly on what the hot topics for the evening would be very, very quickly. And then I'll also let you in on the guests that would have eventually on the show. So, the first hot topic I have this evening, alliance talks. Join Tinubu rather than Atiku, Kwankwaso. Ohanaeze tells P2B. For those of you who were shouting fire and brimstone yesterday, why would you even mention a merger? Why will you even mention it? People should come and see Ohanaeze. They're saying now that it's actually better for the presidential candidate of the Labour Party to merge with Tinubu rather than Atiku and Kwankwaso. Are you kidding me? All right, we'll get into that. We'll dig into it. We will dig into it. That's what we do. We dig a lot here. Okay, so let's go to other conversation. African Union have suspended Niger, demands restoration of constitutional order. African Union suspends Niger, demands restoration of constitutional order. As a matter of fact, that story is practically everywhere. Yeah, but African Union suspending Niger Republic, it's everywhere. Even Al Jazeera has a story, so you can go look it up yourself, right? So another, headline for this evening, release Bazoum without preconditions, ECOWAS tells Niger junta. Malcona release on a president where on a take over from, without even anything, without talking. Don't do PIM. If I hear PIM, don't do it. Just release the man. That's what they're saying. That's what ECOWAS is saying. And then ECOWAS also further says, there is no other thing. It has to be military intervention. There is no short and long form to it. Meanwhile, terrorists have kidnapped Nigerian Air Force officer and demanding 10 million naira after issuing 3-day deadline. And we hear that this Air Force officer was actually earmarked for Niger Republic should there be a military intervention. That is the news we're hearing on the Kunkum. Well, we'll let you in on that as we move on. Okay, we did talk about possible Labour Party alliance. Well, the spokesperson for the Labour Party, Yunus Tanko, says that there may be alliance, but not merger. Said alliance is possible, but merger isn't possible. Of course, Obi's media team also came out today to, Bata even scattered it in and say they don't want anything. Say that story na lie. It's on the year no get at all. That one no go even happen at all, right? Okay, so let's move to another conversation. So U.S. court assumes jurisdiction over Atiku's request for Tinubu's records at Chicago University. Says PDP chieftain meets all requirements. You'd recall that Atiku Abubakar had gone to the court. He had dropped one of the cases he had against the president in the US and, allowed the one in the higher court to, pursue, right? So immediately he did that. The president and his team did file a case to stop him from accessing those documents, or to stop the court from even allowing him to go ahead with that. But rather, what the court said, court gave the president and his team till tomorrow, 23rd of September, 23rd of August, before they will hear the suit, right? So till 23rd of September for him to prove, for the president's team to prove to them beyond reasonable doubt why they should not let Atiku, why they should not hear Atiku's case, or why they should not release the Chicago State University documents to Atiku Abubakar. Right. Okay. So right now the court is saying that, you know what, Atiku meets all the requirements for us to even hear his case. So we're going to hear him. And perhaps if we hear him and we're supposed to, give him the access to the document, it is within his rights, we would give that to him. I don't know, but that's what the case is. All right, then we'll move to other case. Still, as it's got to do with Niger coup, Abdulsalami Abubakar said what he told Tinubu. You'd recall that earlier today, Abdulsalami Abubakar, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the National Security Advisor were in a meeting. So after the meeting, Abdulsalami did say what he told Tinubu. And then, of course, news breaking out from the UK has it that UK police charged Diazani with bribery. Lagos, these are your hot topics for this hour. Let's take a little break. I'll be right back to take the conversation further one at a time. Stay with us. This is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. I'll be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
The award-winning pizza in the US is now here in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Romeo, the pizza champions, and cold berry ice cream, delights in every scoop. Visit any of our outlets and feel the rich taste from the pizza champions and cold berry ice cream at 11 Road by First Avenue, Festac Town, 28 at Denira Ogunsanya Street, Surulere, 13 Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Romeo's Pizza and cold berry ice cream. Romeo, the pizza champions.
The Evening Rush with Precious. Let me bring you a reminder of hot topical conversations of the day.
Even state investors, as you're saying, you've not followed the news as well.
Critical analysis of hot and trending topics on Hot Topics.
That's enough for a responsible government to take appropriate action.
Politics.
If every president, every governor, every minister, every commissioner took his job seriously, this country would not be where it is.
Economy.
We're not growing in terms of what's happening with the economy.
Lifestyle. Human angle. And sometimes the unusual. Evening Rush with Precious. Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. 90.3 Voice of the People FM, Lagos. Now,
listen to hot critical analysis and top trending topics of the day. Join Precious, Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on The Evening Rush.
Lagos, you are welcome back. It is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. And let me quickly bring in Dr. Deji Omoshola on the line. He's our guest for today. Of course, you do know that Dr. Deji is a doctor of political science. So all right, so let's try to connect with him. He's going to be joining us over the phone. So we get to break down this conversation one at a time. So I did tell you, first of all, is that Ohanaeze and Igbo, right, have said to Peter Obi that, you know what, instead of trying to form an alliance with NNPP or PDP, Biko, just calmly form an alliance with the sitting president. Okay, so you know that this news broke out yesterday, right? I don't know, we have Dr. Deji already. Dr. Deji, good evening to you and welcome.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for...
Thank you. So, Dr. Deji, news did break out already yesterday. In fact, over the weekend, that news came up that there may be a possible merger. That, as a matter of fact, the NNPP was having a merger talk with the PDP, concerning, but that they have that talk on the hold, waiting for the outcome of the presidential election, the presidential election petition tribunal, right? And then one of the things that did interest us was that they had also brought in Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, in that talk or in that mix. However, the Labour Party presidential candidate himself disowned that conversation or that major talk yesterday in Edo State, where he did have a rally, and his media team today too have also said same thing, that is not even possible. It's not an offing at all. However, the spokesperson to the Labour Party is saying that an alliance may be possible, but not a merger. But this morning or today, we did hear Ohanaeze Ndigbo urging the presidential candidates of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, to join President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in alliance rather than his counterparts from the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, or Rabi Musa Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party. So Ohanaeze is describing, they describe the planned alliance against the All Progressives Congress APC as satanic. Hey! Sorry, forgive me. Oh, I should observe my manners. Right. So Ohanaeze is describing the planned alliance of the NNPP, Labour Party, and PDP. Was that alliance to be true in any way? Even though Labour Party is denying it at the meantime, of course, that's their own side of the story, right? And which may be true from their angle. So we do not know the intention of the other two political parties. But they're saying that would be satanic for you people to want to do that. In fact, they said it's satanic, and they said it would put the APC-led federal government on its toes and ensure President Bola Ahmed Tinubu delivers on his electoral promises. Now, this is according to a statement by the factional Secretary General of Ohanaeze, Okechukwu Isiguzoro, who said the alliance could or would collapse because Nigerians would not accept Kwankwaso or Atiku in the first place. So Isiguzoro said Atiku's desperation to attain power wouldn't allow him to support Obi to lead the opposition. Of course, there was always a talk about, so if this merger eventually happens, who will be the presidential candidate, who will be the vice, and who will be the follower between Kwankwaso, Tinubu, and Atiku. So the statement said, partly, let me read out now. It said, Peter Obi, Atiku, and Kwankwaso plan to take over from APC is not only a pipe dream, but satanic. The Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, insisted that the ongoing reported talk between the opposition political party leaders is a welcome development, as it will put the APC-led federal government on their toes. But however, it is satanic, bottom line. But he said anything contrary to these, and that Tinubu's administration delivers, to ensure that Tinubu's administration delivers on all its promises to Nigerians. But they said anything contrary to these is regarded as the inconsiderate pursuit of drowning politicians, those whose aims are satanic. That is, if the talks about merger is not just for the purpose of putting the APC and the Tinubu-led government on its toes to work, if it is anything serious, then that means it is satanic, mischievous, and laughable. Ohanaeze Ndigbo observed that there is the possibility of a collapse in their talks because Nigeria would not accept Atiku Abubakar as a leader or alliance. However, they're not urging Obi that Obi should rather align with the APC for a better Nigeria. Bottom line, that's what that means. I'd like to take a reaction on that very quickly. First of all, I'd like to know, did you see that coming in any way?
Well, the purported alliance between the opposition party,
yes,
is not unexpected. It's not unexpected, but I think it is quite too early. But there may be a reason for that. And the person of Peter Obi and what he stands for needs to be very careful. Because at the end of the day, he may eventually participate in the election if there is a rerun. I will explain that.
Okay.
And I am aware that the rerun will most likely be between Atiku Abubakar and Tinubu because they scored 50%. I'm coming.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Because they scored 50% in
the most states.
2/3 of the state.
Okay.
Something like
Okay.
I think 2/3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be 2/3.
Okay.
Now, having scored that kind of amount of vote, that is Atiku and Tinubu, Peter Obi should naturally not participate in the election. But we can't say Tinubu and Atiku actually scored that particular amount.
Considering the evidences that
Because
P2B
why?
has presented before the court, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not party to the suit. I don't know the evidences that Peter Obi has presented in court. But what I'm saying is, what I've heard most on the media is because Tinubu and Atiku scored 50% in 2/3, so they definitely Obi will be excluded. But the noble argument I am bringing in is that Obi may eventually not be excluded. And if you give me a moment, I would state my reason. Now, the election, we cannot say Tinubu and Atiku actually scored so amount. What we have now is INEC figure. And what INEC figure is, although it has been used to swear Tinubu in and Atiku as number 2, but it is not the final figure. It is the tentative figure. In other words, the actual figure is subject to the determination by the judiciary. What do I mean by that? The election is in dispute. Tinubu and Atiku, if the judiciary eventually recompute the result, and I will use the case of Aregbesola and Onyelola in Osun State then, now, same Osun, the case of Oyetola versus Adeleke, whereby the judiciary was recomputing the result and came out with a final position. It also happened in the case of Opus Odima in Imo State versus Emeka Ihedioha. Now, if the judiciary begins to recompute the result, and for example, Rivers State is minus from the state that Tinubu won, that is -1. If any other state fall into place or areas where there were electoral malpractice in that state, let's say Tinubu scores 1.5 million votes, Atiku 1.2, Peter Obi 1 million in a particular state, for example. If the judiciary begin to compute the result of that state based on the argument presented by their lawyers that, okay, there's infraction here, there is ballot box snatching here, electoral violence here, then the judiciary now minus some result as our Nigerian judiciary usually do, and the votes were reduced. If that goes on across the country, and the judiciary is to use that to determine the basis of the rerun, you will be surprised that at the end of the day, the candidacy of Peter Obi may still be valid for the rerun. I give you an example. For example, during the election, particularly the governorship election in Lagos State, the amount of violence that was unleashed by thugs, in the case of Sanwo-Olu versus Rose Vivor, if the judiciary are to do a forensic analysis and begin to look at every place where there is violence and begin to cancel the results there on the basis of violence, voter intimidation, harassment, thuggery, you would see that at the end of the day, this guy called Rose Vivor may eventually be favored. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is people should not rule out the candidacy of Peter Obi, and for anybody that would say maybe, he's supporting Obi this, that, well, for me, I'm used to that. If I speak against Obi, they will say, he's supporting Tinubu because he's a Yoruban man. His name is Omosoladeji. If I speak against Tinubu, they'll say, he's obedient. It comes with the job. But the truth is, so under such circumstance, going for an alliance may be too early, because during the alliance, you guys would have been having talks. You would have been having compromise. For the alliance, you would have technically agreed to use your supporters, your political machinery, political arsenal in favor of maybe Atiku or Peter M or Tinubu. If the judiciary now gives a verdict that no, based on all the minuses that we've done, based on electoral violence and other infraction, your candidacy is still valid, then it will be too late for you to backtrack, because already there is, an unwritten subtle gentleman agreement between you and whoever you are, aligning with. So the person I think needs the alignment right now is Kwankwaso, who came fourth in the election. Now, for the statement of Ohanaeze Indigo, I think, people need to go through the process of at least getting training in whatever doing, because people that are now, you are a journalist, Precious. It is not for fun that you went to school to read journalism, have experience. Look at the statement of Ohanaeze Indigo. You are saying something is satanic, but it will put the government on its toes.
How can something satanic now put government on its toes anyway?
By the situation Nigeria is in now, economically and in all aspects of life, anything that will put government on its toes is godly. So when I read the statement, I was confused that satanic, but to put government on its toes, how does that align? Because to the best of my knowledge, in Nigeria today, the ruling party is too relaxed, and you need a strong opposition. Now, let me now stretch the analysis a bit further. You see, against Tinubu, it is two things can give victory to the opposition party. Number one, a merger. A merger because the PDP right now, as it is, you see, when you don't win the election, your congregation is divided into two.
This one is no worse than two with what is happening with G4 governors. Go ahead.
You just took it out of my mouth.
Right.
Your congregation will be divided into two, and I would say, in this case, it will be 70-30, or to be on the safe side 60-40, which is 60 that will be technically against you, or playing like double side of the of the divide. Now, if you now look at it, if you now look at it, the candidacy of Atiku and Abubakar, because they lose the election, has technically suffered a remarkable setback. Why? Politics is very lucrative in our world. If you are to get rich quick in Nigeria, I've narrowed it to three. You are either a politician, because politics is super lucrative, or you are either an entertainer. When I mean entertainer, I mean, you are in the realm of Davido, Whiskey, Burna Boy, Two-Face, and all that. Or you are into sports. This lady, Oshwala, or this guy, Igalo, and all that. You are a sports star. Those are the three ways. If you look at it, Nigeria has become a country that if you think maybe you are in a state like you can just go to school, graduate, all these, rhetoric of our mother, they have rendered it invalid. And, they still sang the song to me then that Batariadu Kokoka, which means if you go to school, your shoe, if you wear all these, I don't know why Yoba is coming to my mouth today, all these halakwa shoe. That means the shoe that you put on when you are, doing a white corner job. Each time you match the floor, you'll be hearing Coco. So, our mother interpreted it as Coco car, saying that your shoe will be sounding like that, which means if it's only when you are educated that you can be
wear that
wearing
kind of shoe.
those shoes regularly. But the truth now is, be educated from now till tomorrow. You may not wear those kind of shoes. So the candidacy of the support that Peter Obi has is in two ways. Support of the populace, which is still intact. Atiku himself, support of the populace still intact, but support of the political stakeholders, because majority of them are political jobbers. There are two kinds of support. Support of the political jobbers will immediately reduce, because why? They can't wait till that 4 years.
People are already hosting parties because their person have been sworn in as ministers.
So what you see is people will begin to shift ground. And that brings me back to when Jonathan lost the election. In the words of Ruben Abati, they have not even sworn in another government before people have started cross-carpeting. You know, they don't even call him again. They don't call his guy again. That is how bad Nigeria is, because before you can get anything done in the ministry or get a contract, you must know one senator, one governor, one politician or the other. So politics has become so lucrative that there is too much hand in the political cookie jar. Everybody wants to take from the cookie jar. So what do you expect from people that have no alternative address? Peter Obi would naturally suffer, you know, all these setback, not among his organic masses, Atiku towards his own, Tinubu towards his own, but among the political stakeholders. Now, having said that, can Peter Obi, Atiku, or Kwankwaso really win an election without a merger? I'll say no. If Peter Obi will win an election without a merger, and I say it confidently as a political scientist, he has to go to the core north to bring someone that, you know, that they can believe in. Somebody that has, you know, that comes from the extreme north and allegedly shares, you know, apparent extreme views. And one of the person that you can pick is Sheikh Gumi. If you see a ticket of Peter and Sheikh Gumi, or Peter Obi, or somebody like El Rufai, chances of becoming the president would fly high. Now, that is option one. Option two is a merger. Now, if they merge, who has the better chance out of the three? That's another question that we can use to educate our, you know, our listeners. It's Peter Obi. You know why?
Okay.
Atiku, there's already the growing social disaffection against his candidacy as a veteran contestant. That why is it that every election cycle, you know, you have become a regular customer. Now, for Kwankwaso, he is vibrant and he is a social welfarist. But there is this, you know, belief or argument amongst the political circle that has been extended to the electorate that it is the turn of the South. So we have this going on constitutional agreement now that, okay, when South rules, then North should rule, except if the president in question, you know, kick the bucket. Now, if Tinubu remains the president, painfully according to the wisdom of the judiciary, not according to the will of Nigerians now, if Tinubu remains the president by 2027, now you will need a Southerner to contest against him. And the Southerner that is very favored now is Peter Obi. So in other words, Peter Obi's political strategist, if any, may now be using the opportunity to be thinking ahead and say, okay, don't let's be enemies with these people, but let us play with them carefully. Why? Because politics is an all-comers affair. But if a rerun is being pushed forward, then if Peter Obi candidacy is not involved, then maybe we'll support Tinubu or Atiku. Now, who is he most likely to support? That's another thing. Now, if you look at the president, the person of Tinubu is somebody that usually go all out. He may not have the super wisdom of governance, because if how he's governing within the 3 months is anything to go by, I think his governing skills is overrated. And I can argue that with whoever thinks otherwise. But because that is not the focus of the topic, I won't delve into that. But he is a political strategist in the sense that he knows how to give you what you want. He's a game master. He's somebody that if they say, oh, it's Joy, Joy, this evening, it's in the hands of Precious Enyi, as he is. He can give you anything. And I'm not speaking in vacuum. For your election, I watched the candidates of APC, Tesla, said their video, how the president sent him documents that he should pick a land of his choice around Lekki. So he's somebody that, is a giver. He doesn't have restraint giving. And he has strong political influencers that can negotiate, that their negotiation skills is so much that they will put up everything. Pressure, threat, alignment, different things. I give you an example. I don't speak in vacuum. When Oyetola, who happened to be his family, was at the verge of losing the election in Osun, the first round of the election, and Omishore became a factor, they sent powerful emissaries to begin to negotiate with Omishore. And according to what's on the street, his passport, allegedly with the security agency, was released almost immediately, and he later rose as high as becoming the secretary of the ruling party, despite the fact that at that time, he was in, I think, SDP. So the APC is blessed with guys that they might not have the super wisdom when it comes to ruling, but when it comes to political ruggedity and sagacity, you can never underestimate them. Now, in other words, they may eventually, be able to win Peter Obi to their side if there is a rerun and it is Tinubu versus Peter Obi. Now, what is the strength of Atiku? You see, when you are not in power, you negotiate softly. In other words, Tinubu is the president already.
Okay.
Even if you say go to rerun, it is the IG that he appointed that will conduct that election.
So he has every apparatus of security and government now.
Exactly. So he will negotiate from the position of strength. But have a better negotiation with the person that is seeking power, who now happens to be Atiku, if there is a rerun.
But Dr. Deji, sorry for cutting you there briefly. Mm-hmm. You would recall that even before the election or immediately the result was announced, a lot of people were saying that if there had been a major talks from the beginning, if Kwankwaso perhaps had accepted a major, talks with Obi without calling him Andrew's liver salt, perhaps Obi would have done better in the election, because people were thinking that, for a first-time comer to sweep or a first-time presidential candidate to sweep the number of votes that he did sweep, then that means he would have done better. So do you not think that probably these politicians are looking at retracing their steps? You also recall that the APC did merge with how many political parties for them to oust power from the PDP? So maybe they're now just thinking about the fact that, let's do what we need to do. Whatever happens, we need to get power first, and we'll begin to negotiate who leads and who will not lead. Don't you think so?
Well, I think what favors Peter Obi is the word, I'm looking for a sentence, but let me just use a trial will convince you. In the sense that Peter Obi was seen as a political underdog before now. So in other words, they see it as when they are negotiating with him, they are doing him a favor. Like, Kwankwaso believes that he is better.
Yes,
He is
because
of
he even
greater
mentioned it.
political
He
stature
said,
than Peter Obi.
yes, he said that his political portfolio is way richer than that of Peter Obi. So I mean, he's been a
Exactly.
minister, he's been a governor, he's been, so I mean, he's been more than what Peter Obi has been. So why should he, be subject to Peter Obi? That was the reason why that measure did not even work in the first place. I guess so.
But at the end of the day, the result of the election has made Peter Obi,
yes,
more
relevant,
to reckon
right?
with of some sort, because he doesn't have the apparatus of state. He is stingy. They give shishi and all that. Still, in a society whereby monetary politics hold sway, and they give, if that is true, and you are able to amass that kind of followership to the extent of beating Nigeria's famous political godfather, because nobody has made godfatherism pronounced in Nigeria as the current president. Nobody. If you can beat such a person in his own state, in his own domain, then you are a force to reckon with. So now it's just like an artist that is begging to record before. The way he will be treated will be different from when he has a hit track.
Exactly, a hit single at least.
So now Peter Obi has, which is the 2023 presidential election result. So that puts him in an advantage to negotiate. But the thing is, showing that it is different, that he is different, arguing that he is different, is what won him that organic followership. The question now is, if he aligns with these other guys, with that followership still remains, that is what needs to be tested. And that is why I think he was being careful when he said anything they hear is rumor. I think he's testing the waters. But one of the spokespersons of the Labour Party affirmed on TV that, okay, they are in talks. But I think, the fear of the followership is the beginning of wisdom. And that is how it should be. Because in Senate clans like the United States, if they want to vote whether to pass a bill or not, you first of all go and consult your constituents. Create a platform whereby people can vote whether they support it or not. An open platform. And if majority support it, even if you don't like the bill, it is not about you. You have to go and vote in favor of the bill because the people support it. But in Nigeria, people don't count. So I think people are still a factor in the mind of Peter Obi. That is why he's being careful. But at the end of the day, it's difficult, if not almost impossible, to wrestle power from someone that has this, political sagacity in the person of the president if there is no merger. Because right now, Peter Obi is not super strong in the north. Atiku and Kwankwaso or any one of them are strong in the north. So, and there is this north-south alliance that must come into force before you can emerge president.
Absolutely.
That is how it has been since the days of MKO.
Yes.
So he needs it. And if you Atiku, he needs to grow his southern support base. And PDP right now, if you remove the Wike, the Seyi Makinde G5, if you remove it, then you will see that PDP is not as strong as before. But I was wondering, you see, in life, experience is for a reason. Experience is for a purpose. The mistake that a journalism student will make, we won't expect Precious to make such a mistake. Because why? The single reason is Precious has experience. Over 20 years of experience, and that's why I call you our HOD, our head of department.
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
If you now look at it, how will somebody is a former vice president? You saw what happened during the days of Jonathan when Amechi and the likes left the party, and you are considered, and you open your eye, Koro, Wike and others worked against you. Where is that political experience? the goal is for you to be the president. You need the vote. These guys, though Wike might be a local government chairman when you were vice president in 1999, but these guys are the owners of the game now. In other words, grab the power first, get the power first. So I was wondering why Atiku could be so, northernized, if I can use that word, to the extent that he will let Wike and others to walk away. Though Wike and others use, instrumentalism, in the sense that they were saying, oh, it is the turn of the South. Let the South rule. Let the South emerge. Excuse me, ever since Wike had been in bed with APC, have you heard him mention South? Have you heard him say anything about South? In other words, he used the interest of the South as an instrument for his own personal gain. Don't forget that this same Wike that is with Tinubu today was lobbying to be the deputy after he lost the presidential primary. Yes. So in other words,
even though he didn't come out, he didn't come out openly for that. He keeps saying that nobody heard him say that.
I fear two occupations in my life. Two. One, being a pastor. For two reasons. If you are a genuine pastor and you are binding witches and wizards, the day you mistakenly lose God, the sin that I will commit and I will go scot-free, the day you mistakenly lose God, the way they will come after you and deal with you. Then, if you now choose to be a fake pastor, on Judgment Day, you want to go and use the name of God to lie. I fear that a lot. Now, the second occupation I fear most, it will shock you as a political scientist, is politics itself, being a politician. Because politics in our climb, democracy in our climb, has a whole different meaning than what the proponents of than those the proponents of democracy itself, what they mean, what they intend. So in other words, the way our politicians go about their thing, they use it for personal interest, and that is why you need to be wise. You really need to be wise as a Nigerian, else they will keep dribbling you.
So Dr. Deji, I think we've dwelt on this a bit for a while now. So let's move straight to Niger Republic and ECOWAS, and now even African Union, a bigger continental body backing, Bazoum, as it were. So African Union have disbanded, suspended Niger Republic, asking the military rulers to return to the barracks immediately, right? And, ECOWAS is still insisting that there really is no way out but military intervention. As a matter of fact, just this afternoon, Abdulsalami Abubakar had a meeting with the president alongside with the National Security Advisor, Nuhuri Badu. And, well, he did say a few things that he told the president. He said, as you are aware, the ECOWAS heads of state government have made me an envoy to Niger Republic, and we were there over the weekend to see the military people and discussed to find a way out of the lacuna we find ourselves. So that's why I'm here this afternoon, together with the president of ECOWAS Commission, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to give a report back to president on our discussion in Niger. I must say that our visit to Niger has been very fruitful, and that it has opened an avenue to start talking, and hopefully we'll get somewhere. Right, so he did say quite a lot. So a lot of people are saying, okay, so this looks like something a talk is likely to resolve. But on the other hand, ECOWAS is still blowing hot and saying that, you know what, the only way out seems like to be military intervention. As a matter of fact, we heard Naval Labi Air Force, military Air Force personnel that was assigned, that is supposed to be assigned to, Niger Republic, should there be a military intervention, was kidnapped over the weekend, and a ransom of 10 million naira on him. And we've not even settled that matter. So a lot of people are saying, should the president, pay more attention to what is happening in the country, or go ahead to really intervene as the boss of the ECOWAS that he is right now? Considering that there is a lot happening in the country, there is still a lot of insecurity in this country. People are dying. This morning, I just saw in the news that people living in the IDP camps are giving birth in toilets. Meanwhile, we've been giving amnesty to Boko Haram, the people that put them in that condition. And we've been disarmed, under the DDR, the disarming and the radicalization and reintegration process. Most of them have been reintegrated back into the society. Meanwhile, the people that they destroyed their homes are yet to go back to their homes, are giving birth to their children in toilets, and their children are dying because of the awful conditions that are giving birth. So people are saying that, don't we have too much on our table already for the president to concentrate on, or must he really intervene? El-Rufai this morning did say that any war against Niger Republic looks like a war against the North, because it's like brothers fighting against brothers. Right? So I'd like you to, chime in on that. Yes, please.
If Boko Haram have been granted amnesty, it further strengthens my argument that Nigeria has made it look like being a responsible citizen. Nigeria makes you look stupid. Why? If you are not a responsible citizen, you are likely to be favored by the government. So if people that bomb are now having preferential treatment, and the people they put in that miserable condition are living miserably. Now, if you are now to choose which part of life to follow, the probability that we will choose to be a Boko Haramist is high. Let's be realistic with ourselves. And that is why insecurity keeps trending. For example, if I'm a responsible citizen now, I can't do anything with impunity, right?
Yes.
But if I choose to be a political thug, I know I can slap you and go away with it. So, and if you look at the principle of nature, human being likes to be free. What holds you from collecting my phone, if it's better than yours, is the fear of the law. Because you know the law will catch up with you. So ordinarily, if there is no state, definitely you just say, give me that phone or just beat me up. Because why? There's no consequence. That is why they said that life was short, nasty, and brutish, according to Ops. So now, coming to the issue of ECOWAS, African Union, and all that. You see, the case in Niger, first of all, while I was, trying to think over it, as a political scientist, it first questions, the role of sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Ability to govern yourself according to what works for you, without external interference. That is sovereignty. Now, close to that, another, thing that comes into place, legitimacy, which is having the support of the people. Like the people want you. What the Yorubas will call ilufemiloye. That is, the people must want you to be there. Now, in this case, in Niger, the people rejoiced when the coup was, perpetrated. In other words, the people are satisfied with being ruled by a military government. Now, if they are satisfied, and you are saying that every one of they must return to democracy, it now brings us to the fact that democracy is the ideology of who? Is the principle of who? First, democracy is the ideology of the West. It is the principle of the West. Now, democracy right now is made to believe, the world is made to believe that democracy is the best form of government because power evolved from the people. But before the advent of democracy, if you go back to the pre-colonial era, Africans have their own system of governance before the advent of the colonialists, just like we have our African traditional religion. Now, the West may argue that they are not good enough. But as much as I would like to believe the argument, when I begin to see the action of the West regards imperialism, neocolonialism, then I begin to question what is the aim of the West. Now, let us look at democracy that the AU is fighting to impose back in Niger. For the benefit of our listeners, the most common definition is the people, by the people, and for the people. So in other words, anything that contradicts those three stands, that makes it a tripod, means it is no longer democracy. In other words, if the government is not for the people, or if it is not by the people, government of the people, government of for the people, by the people, and for the people. If anything contradicts it, any of those strands, those three strands, that means it is either called a remixed democracy or another form of government entirely. For example, in Nigeria, I have argued that what we have in Nigeria is a remixed democracy called judicracy. That's what we have now, not democracy. Government that is determined by the judiciary. In other words, anybody that the judiciary wakes up tomorrow and says is the winner of the election is the winner. That means the legitimacy of that election is no longer organic. And what is the aim of democracy? For power to evolve organically. So if the judiciary begins to determine the result of every election, what you have is judicracy. So that is why nations threaten their institutions. So now, in this case of Niger, what I see more is misplaced priority. Because, for example, ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. Economic community. In other words, ECOWAS was established mainly for economic purpose. You see?
Are you saying they don't have the right to intervene in situations like this?
You see?
Because political issues also affect economy. You know that. Good question. While I was doing my master's at the University of Nottingham and I was to do my dissertation, I submitted a topic. They said, no, you want to bag a Master of Arts in International Relations, there must be that international link to your dissertation. There must be something that connects it to the global community. Now, what am I trying to say? Economic community of West Africa. Now, even if there's going to be political interference, because economy and politics are somehow intertwined, that's why we have fields like political economy. But if you are ECOWAS, the economy aspect must be more than the political aspect. What am I trying to say? That means you must be 60% economic, 40% political, 70% economic, 30% political. But what we have now is ECOWAS is apparently 90% political, like 20% economic, because ECOWAS has not really done much as regards the economic prosperity of the states or the countries that are their members. So that is why I can argue that instead of ECOWAS, like the issue of my dissertation that I used, then I think ECOWAS should be renamed to Political Stability of West African States. In other words, the P will be silent to be SOWAS. PSOWAS.
the P will now be silent. It will now be pronounced as SOAS. Political stability of West African state, because economic community of West African state. So
are you saying that they're not serving economical purposes at all?
Just a moment. The economy of the nations under you are in total shambles. Look at the economy of Nigeria, Ghana, Niger, Ivory Coast. The economy is nothing to write home about, despite the fact that these nations are endowed with, enormous natural resources. So if what I want ECOWAS to be doing, according to the mandate of its establishment, is to be sitting together, thinking about how to end imperialism totally, how to eradicate dependency, how to make sure that the resources of Nigerians works for Nigeria, or by extension of its West African community. So that should be the role of ECOWAS. So, and a coup now happens. Then I won't fault ECOWAS, but right now ECOWAS is going beyond its mandate. And like I've said before now, the president, there are two ways whereby you can be a strong president. Two, either by development or by being excessive use of force or power, arbitrary use of power. Now, we have presidents that are regarded in their country, they are very respected. That is, for example, Lee Kuan Yew. And we now have president or head of state that went down in history as being notorious, the likes of Idi Amin. Now, we may not have Lee Kuan Yew again, but we still have what I can call, some pirated copy of Lee Kuan Yew. In other words, we have leaders that are still trying, to kind of like come out in terms of developing their country. We may not have Idi Amin again, but we also have some pirated Idi Amin. Now, what should now be the focus of Nigeria's president? It should be a strong president by development, because that is what Nigeria needs now. His focus should be on the development of the Nigerian state. So if he wants to go down in history as a strong president, it should be based on development as set by the likes of Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Not by being strong, in the sense that you as the chairman of ECOWAS, when the coup was done, you came out with strong force and said, oh, this, that, this. West Africa is not. It is only in Lagos that, these Baba Sokwe tribes, Baba have said this. This is national politics. This is sub-regional politics. You need to learn the attitude of, if I can use the word of that small boy, calm down. The boy that said, mommy, be calming down. In this case, you are at the national level. What you do in states that we sail through, you can't try it in Nigeria. And don't let's forget that, for God's sake, Africa has a challenge. What is the challenge? Development challenge. In other words, African citizens have to cry before their roads get started. And if by law they tie that road, nobody will touch that road till it's spoils completely. In other words, we have development challenge, the developmental challenge. Our leaders are not development oriented. What am I trying to say? If ECOWAS invades Niger people have said they're happy with the government. In other words, the government has legitimacy. And we are arguing that there is sovereignty, which means nations are free to rule as they wish. Now, does being a member of international treaties, signing international treaties, does it supersede the sovereignty of a country, the organic legitimacy? That is another research for political scientists. That's another research. Does being a member of international organization, being part of the UN, AU, does it undermine the organic legitimacy? Because sovereignty now, as it is being undermined in Niger. So if the West African nations should go and invade Niger, I think our president has thought it through well, because the population of Nigeria in Niger, look at the war in Russia and Ukraine. I think Russia would have naturally thought that they will flatten Ukraine within a week. But I watched this morning whereby, the Danish government and the Netherlands government have said that they are willing to, supply Ukraine arms, small Ukraine, facing Russia. But the war has been going on because Ukraine has been able to seek the support of some other nations. In other words, that your military is already stretched, the economy is bad, no part of your country, is at war. Dollar is going to 1,000 naira. That one, prepare you, pay you. Your people, they suffer, pay you. You are strategizing to go and invade another country. As chairman of ECOWAS, because it is how you lead that other countries are following. You are the leader. So if you go and invade Niger, have you thought it through well? Then if you think that you will just, at the end of the day, reinstate democracy, the truth is, Bazoum can never be the president of Niger again because he has suffered legitimacy crisis. What he can do is to have, political asylum in another country. Like what happened to, is it Yahya Jammeh or his predecessor? I'm trying to recollect. That is what can happen to Bazoum. Then the Bazoum you are fighting for. What if you invade Niger and these military guys kill him? What if they execute him immediately? Another thing is that, are you really fighting for the enthronement of democracy, or you are fighting to enthrone a government? The bidding of the... Because if you go back and look at post-colonial government in Africa, the West have this tendency of supporting government that do their bidding, whether it is democracy, whether it is monarchical, whether it is fascist, whether it is totalitarianism.
All right, so Dr. Diji, you have spoken for almost 1.5 hours now. People need to now. My people have been itching to have their, have a little say. Okay. I don't know if you can permit us so we can open the phone lines. Nigeria, generally, phone lines are open. Please chime in into the conversation. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. That is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 9039. So we have been looking at the advice by Ohanaeze Ndigbo to Peter Obi, saying that he should rather form an alliance with the APC instead of the PDP and the NNPP. I also did look at the meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar and the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu about ECOWAS, right? And ECOWAS saying that, it looks like there is no other way but military intervention. Although Abdulsalami is saying that, they've been able to open talks with the junta, and we're hoping that talks further. So it may be more of a Georgia this time and not a world war. However, we know that we have issues in Nigeria. I mean, we lost over 20 military officers just recently, and a helicopter was shot down, and we're looking at it. Don't we have our hands? I mean, shouldn't the president be saddled with too many responsibilities in Nigeria? Even within our own country, they're kidnapping our own officers and asking for ransom in our country when we never go war yet. They enough for them to say, could you leave this matter first, concentrate on what's happening in our country? Well, it's up to you to air your thoughts. And I also did tell you that the African Union have also suspended Niger Republic and asking them to return power to civilian and release Bazoum immediately. 0700 903 903 903. If you're calling from WhatsApp, if you're watching from YouTube and you'd like to chime in on this conversation, you can call the WhatsApp line 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 9039. Let's quickly attend to some of the calls on YouTube. Hello, good evening to you. Hello. Hello, are you there? Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, help me turn up the volume of your listening device, please.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Uche. I'm calling from the UK.
Uche, you're welcome. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yes, I'm very happy to have been trying to reach this show. I've been following your show. It's very interesting and very educative. Please, I want to talk in regards to this Niger issue. Yes, well, war at this time, and we don't want any war in Africa continent. But I'm quite surprised the way the entire Northerners are against ECOWAS moving to Niger to restore democracy, which I'm not in support of that, because even the West African countries are not even practicing pure democracy. So sometimes I used to ask myself, if this issue were to be in Cameroon or Togo, the countries beside us, will people really come against ECOWAS like this? Will the Southerners in Nigeria and Northerners complain or put so much concern in the military intervention? It won't.
But you would agree. But you would agree that if you're looking at this holistically, we have our Northerners have more alliances and more relatives in Niger Republic than we have any southern states have with any neighboring country within that borders them. You know that, right? I mean, you don't have have the number. Yeah. So, I mean, the number is quite huge. So perhaps that's the reason why we have that.
We don't have the ties. Yes, I know. In the southern border of Nigeria, we don't have ties.
Exactly. I know we have the Cotonou relative but then it's not in the same number you have in the north. We have a whole 7 states bordering them. And as it is right now, we have too many Niger Republic Fulanis living in Nigeria, even in their numbers. So much so that you can't even tell those who are Nigerians and those who are Nigerians.
Exactly. This is what I want to bring. This is where I'm driving at. So Nigeria, if we talk about the southern Nigeria and the northern Nigeria, so we can say the entire northern Nigeria comprises of Niger Republic. And this is where when it comes to elections, we know people cross the border. We have porous border. And people cross the border to come and conduct.
We have closed the borders now.
In Nigeria,
we have now closed the borders. It's no longer porous. He's wearing jeans. He's wearing jeans now, skin tight.
It's a vast land. I have used Google Map to check at the borders. We have so many streets. We have so many strips to pass the border. It's not a desert.
Too many loopholes. I understand.
The borderline in the north is not like a forest that is very difficult to come through. It's just a barren.
It's just like a bare road, a bare ground. Yeah.
It's a very porous. Anybody can cross the border from any point of the boundaries there. The borders are just what's it called? Just a symbolic point of entry, but they are more than I cannot count. So that is it. That's just my thing. I think we need to try. I don't want war. We don't want war. But ECOWAS is overdoing it because ECOWAS is supposed to cater for the economy of West Africa, the states that are in ECOWAS. We don't in the entire West Africa. We don't even know what they have done economically.
Wow.
Apart from yes, we don't know what they have done because we are supposed to be very rich down from Mauritius to Cameroon. We don't have any good road transport that we do business, that we do transactions from.
I mean, we should have had an intertrain services that could connect all of these countries, right?
The first gas underground gas pipeline I was expecting was to go through West Africa first. We have to supply the entire West Africa gas while we'll be making money from there. But I don't know why we are taking gas from Nigeria down to across to Europe. That is what we have to start from the West African region first. We have to supply the entire West Africa gas. We will make a lot of money from there. then from there we will have the experience on how to manage the gas and how to transport it across
unfortunately,
the
our leaders are not thinking towards that line, and the letter is already in progress anyway. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because
Your suggestion may not be
yes, I worked in Qatar for several years, like 9 years. I worked in the oil and gas industry. I worked in the
those
airport,
those are the people that are making good use of their oil. Those are the people that are. If you want to know that there are people, I'm sure you know that. You can tell me that story already. Those are the people that their citizens are enjoying the proceeds of their oil.
Sure, the government structure and what they put in place in terms of their aviation, because I work in the aviation industry too. I work in the Doha International Airport for 4 years. I was a facility manager there. I managed the entire airport. If I tell you what they put in place, I'm not going to leave this show. It's going to take me. Nigerians will marvel and they will open their mouth. Then they will just they will just shout, do we have a government?
I wish you can call in one day and tell me all of this. Honestly speaking, I love to hear. I really love to hear. Perhaps you and I should talk later on. I'd love to hear this. It's a good content. We should talk about it because people need to be informed. We should see what we're lacking, what we should have that we're lacking. Unfortunately, like you rightly said, there will be no time for us to talk about it on this show. But perhaps you should just connect with me. My name is Precious Enyi. Go to Instagram and follow me. Let's
Precious,
talk. So let's talk. We'll book an appointment for you to come on this show and talk to people about it. And I'm serious about it.
It will be my pleasure.
I'd love to hear
it. Will be my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.
I want to educate Nigerians.
I would love you to
Thank
do
you.
that. I'd love you to do that. I appreciate it. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Hello. Good evening to you. Hello. Hello. Yes, please. Good evening. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Ezewawa.
Ezewawa. Where are you calling from?
From Enugu State. I'm calling from Igbede New Side.
All the way from Enugu. Are you watching us from YouTube?
No, I live at Igbede New Side.
Okay, Ojo. All right, go ahead. Let's hear you.
You see, you people are trying. But these people in government is like, they know the hair. If they be small children, they will say these children know the hair. Waiting to our president will carry us go fight for himself. When we have the problem, Thabo Mbeki came to this country. Jesse Jackson came to this country. Babangida told them that this is our internal problem. That we don't need people to come and distract us. That there are some cross elements and idle Nigerians that are trying to establish the peace of this country. Everything is in control. Why don't they allow Niger to control their own internal ramblings? Must you go down and spend our time that we don't even have to take care of our children here? I don't know what is happening. The election tribunal never released their decision. I don't know where they're delaying. No light, no road, no.
All right. Thank you so much. Apologies. I think your call just went off. All right. So let me quickly read some messages because I have so many of them. This says, hi, please. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. And then it says, good evening, Precious. Precious, please let your guest, Dr. DG, also factor in the many other issues like Tinubu's criminal records that were all canvassed at the tribunal court in his analysis. This is what will make it balanced and reasonable for me. Comrade Godfrey sent in that message. Dr. DG, you can hear that, ba? And then, Joy from Abbas says, good evening, VOP. I am surprised that people are talking about a rerun without looking at the angle of Tinubu, APC, and Shetima's disqualification. Yeah, that APM, Allied People's Movement Party thing, that's a big thing too, but we don't know what the mind of the judiciary will be right now, right? He said, for me, any judgment that does not disqualify the president and his likes is a miscarriage of justice. Meanwhile, I'm still waiting to see how Tinubu and co are going to escape all the baggages bedeviling their candidacy. That's what this person says. And I move to more messages. Ademi Lua Lucas from Iba says, good evening, Precious. Can your guest please tell us the nations that have prospered under military rule? Dr. DG, they're coming for you. Okay. All right. And then this says, Yusuf from Ijegu says, from the analysis of your guest, the worst mistake they will make is to exclude Peter Obi from any form of election that may happen as regards this election court case. It will weaken the unity of the country more and more. That's what this person said, or what he deciphered from your show. Emperor then says, Precious, without Kwankwaso, Obi really did well. In fact, Obi did better, of course. It's visible to the blind, right? I will tell you that if the real votes given to Obi was counted and announced, Tinubu will not come close, Obi or Atiku. The little votes given to Tinubu and the ones Wike rigged, you and I know how he got it. You know that, Precious, babe. Why are you roping me in now? Must I know? And then he said, you know I love you. And against your opinion, I always try to put things in the right perspective. We're in a big mess, he said. Inflation likely to rise up to 28%. It don't go up. You don't go up. But forget the numbers you're seeing in the book. So the reality is what matters. I told you, okay, I don't know if I mentioned this. I had a communication with someone from the north today, Dr. Deji. A bag of rice in the north, as I speak now, is more than 70,000 naira. And apart from the whole inflation and fuel subsidy issue, this particular one is not unconnected with what's happening in Niger Republic. I hope you know. A bag of rice now in the north is over. In fact, the person told me categorically 78,000 naira. But I just decide to say it's about above 70,000. If north can buy rice for 70,000 naira, if you get rice for your house, one bag, just begin counting one grain to cook, because it looks like we're sitting on a long thing. All right, I appreciate you, Emperor. Thank you so much for that message. I appreciate you a lot. You just brought that back to my mind. And then this says, good evening. Wow, your guest has said it all. In fact, he's true and well-experienced political scientist. The guy really understands the Nigerian political terrain intelligence. The only way Peter Obi can win election is by forgetting his arrogance away. Is by forgetting his arrogance of feeling superior and agreeing to alliance or merging with other parties. If not, there is nothing from him. Politically, Tinubu, Atiku, and Kwankwaso are more experienced than Peter Obi. You know, is a master strategist in politics. He did draw the road map to ensure his political party ally and merged with the political parties to subside former President Jonathan and PDP. From the look of things on the case in election tribunal in court, Tinubu would win the case because there are some applications filed against Tinubu by Atiku and Obi that have no proof, hence invalid. Therefore, the case will be thrown away by the judges because they lack merit. For example, the issue of qualifications, school certificates, etc. Dr. Deji, did you hear what this person said? I'm coming to your response, so let me read more to you. Kola Wole from Egondu then says, good evening. I'm not sure your guest understands in details the stakes of ECOWAS in the Nigerian situation, or in the Niger situation rather. I believe this not individual matter. This is treaties responsibilities. It is international relationship. Dr. Deji, you heard that? And then Prince Magic Kudumi from Fadei Yaba says, good evening, Precious. Your political scientist guest has really spoken very, very well. His contributions is wonderfully balanced. Hence, he's spoken to the whole truth about Nigeria. The issue of merging or alliance by Labour Party, PDP and NNPP is a rumor. Moreover, APC will not accept alliance with Labour Party. Moreover, again, there is going to be a rerun of election. Peter Obi can never participate because he came third. My perception is that either the judgment will favor President Tinubu or declaration of rerun only in areas of or jurisdictions where there is violence, ballot snatching, and the rest of it. And based on this ruling, Atiku and Tinubu will not suffer the consequences because rerun is only going to take place in limited areas of the country and not a complete general rerun election. Therefore, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will retain his office as president. Okay, you guys have your analysis, intact. Okosisi from Surulere says, good evening, Precious and Dr. Deji. Tinubu as head of ECOWAS threatening to go to Niger is like one carrying elephant on his head and using his leg to look for grasshoppers. It's like he is unaware that there are Nigerian army in our Nigerian military. That's what he said. All right, Dr. Deji, let me go back to a few calls and I come back to you. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Precious.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Nemeka from Ejigbo.
Nemeka, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I guess you spoke fine.
Thank you.
Good work for that.
Thank you.
We'll thank him for his job. You know one thing I'm saying? Nigeria have turned a kind of country. Somebody will steal your property and you cut the person. The person is giving you all manner of reason make him feel you. Instead of him to submit back what he stole from you, he's giving you all reasons. I still say Nigeria here, people have reason for their mistakes a lot. That's why you can't get it right any day. Until you start to look at the wrong and say, Master, I beg you, this is wrong. Because if whatever we are putting on today, that's what the children are learning stolen in us. Look around the streets. If they date 10 boys on the street and bring them on the scale, ask them their vision and their focus. Their focus is to steal people, to scam people, to fast making money. Then this is a kind of society we are building. No problem. But to resolve the issue, I keep saying it. ECOWAS and AU, this the Achakaro Aloje movement, they forget it because they are not joking. Anybody that is trying to invade the gen, make that person get ready to face internal war in his own country. That's what I have for the whole leaders, because you can't be giving your people this kind of democracy. We are trying to restore democracy for somewhere. What is democracy? You know, you are going to say something about democracy. Only, I don't know, he's a Yoruba guy, but me, I'm an Igbo guy. Before the whites invade this land, you understand me? Before the whites invade this land, Igbos are practicing democracy as way of their leadership in their land. That means the power for the people. Before our king will take any decision, he will send message the whole village, make them go at the whole village. If all of them agree, then the king will tell you, say, this is what my people say, this is what we want. But here, the few people are select themselves to be deciding for us. And the educated ones are sitting there and looking at these things. Every day, I'll be calling their name. You say you educated, you have certificates that full one bag. But look at where we are. People that do not know how to write their name, they win their results, are controlling us like where animals are living.
No, it's enough. It's enough. Sorry. If Nami make you vex, forgive me. If Nami vex you, forgive me. No vex. No, I dey beg now. No vex. You don't do it here. But your life on radio, so you have to control what you say.
These people, they are provoking us.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's okay. Oh, it's okay. Honorable, off your mic. It's okay. Honorable. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Can you help me make it quick, please? Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Ijeoma Egwuatu on the line.
Where are you calling from, please? And here you're welcome.
I'm calling from Surulere.
Go ahead, please.
I've heard everything the guest said, and most of them are spot on. But I want to combine both Nigerian issue and ECOWAS issue and Africa in general. I have a saying that the hood doesn't make the monk. So in other words, any system of government we want to practice in Africa, it must be autochthonous, homemade. Like the last guest said, traditional time, the Igbo people, the Yoruba people, whatever, they had things that were working for them. So every democracy should be fashioned in line with the characters, features of those people in the society. Now, why we're having issues with the Western democracy is that it was fashioned with the Western style of life. And they are now forcing it down on an African society. It's not going to work. So we need something that is homegrown. So in the case of Niger, where ECOWAS should not cry more than the bereaved, they should not be more Catholic than the Pope. Let them give them time to strategize and form a government for the next 3 years as they are promising. Let us see where they are heading to. So the issue of democracy or not should be left for the Nigerians to determine that. Now let's come back to Nigeria. The forces the internal implosion is much on us economically. So if you put it on a scale of 1 to 10, to chairman ECOWAS to go for a fisticuff with the Nigerian forces, well, we may not, it will get back hard on us. It will really be hard on us. In fact, in several, because of time, I will have elaborated, So we shouldn't even trade that. Let us keep trading on the angle of diplomacy. Look at Russia and Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine may be feeling they have an upper hand, but the war is on the soil. Whose soil is going bad? Whose people are dying more? It's Ukraine. Forget that the Western world are supplying arms, trying to wage it. Yes, Russia thought that by the next 2 weeks they would have run them over, but it's not possible. Because of the ego that Russia has, they will keep fighting. And even though they are still losing economically, but they're still having the upper hand in the war. Whose citizens are dying? Is it not Ukraine? Who are the citizens going on as refugees? Is it not Ukraine?
But the media is not even playing it out like that. The media is making it look like, Ukraine is not losing much.
Who is the media? Is it not Western world? Is it not CNN?
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just thought to drop that because what you see may not be what others are seeing. Because some people may just object to.
Just a second.
Very quickly, please. Very, very quickly.
This one is in Nigeria. For me, I will suggest in Nigeria that the issue of Nigeria is value system and our corruption is not systemic, not even endemic. That is why no matter who is there, whether Hausa man, Yoruba man, Fulani, the thing runs. Okay, for example, the money they are sharing to senators now, did the Labour Party and APC or PDP, did they say no? They all took the...
Shebi, when I said it, they were coming for me that why am I picking on the Labour Party senators? Well, I said that. That's why I said that whatever is wrong with us, just like you said, it's systemic. Everybody decide. Nobody if he talk say no, I no go chop. Everybody go collect.
If they are sharing allowances now or say official cars now, are they going to say that the senator from Bayelsa should drive a Corolla and the one from Zamfara should drive an SUV? No. Everybody's smiling. They have shared committee, shared everything, shared secretary. Everybody's smiling now. That's the way it is. So our problem is systemic. Then for the those in the federal, we need to cut down cost. To me, cutting down cost may not necessarily be pruning down the number of ministries.
That place you're going to is a no-go area. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling. Let me quickly speak to someone else.
Yes,
I've already picked another call. Please.
Okay,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Hello. Good evening to you.
Precious, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mazude.
Mazude, you're welcome. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I like the way I make it. I like the mission. I like it.
Okay.
But there's one thing I want to say. All the problem we have in this country or the whole world is because people do not know the meaning of life. The life is truth. And about talking about this Nigeria, ECOWAS, I want Nigeria, let it not be this tortoise, king, and the elephant story. What we do is that I want Nigeria, as an advice, let us drop that share. Give it out the coast president. Let him hold that ECOWAS post and do whatever he wants to do. Because the man is never a good man. If you look at the history of that man, he betrayed Nigeria during that time with Liberian war. So what can we do?
Which man is not a good man precisely? Alassane and Ouattara.
Yes.
Right, go ahead.
He's never a gentleman. He just wants to push Tinubu. He wants to become like a Michael Jaya song, so that they will go and fight another country, so that Nigeria will be more problem. If they enter this war, I can assure you, Lagos, and now everywhere they will be burning because terrorists will run their off. Please.
All right. Thank you so much.
So
I appreciate you.
For everything to be, let them carry and go give them more.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Mazude. All right, let me run through some YouTube messages very, very, very quickly. Fisayo Majikudumi says, "Good evening, Madam Precious. Hope you have a good day." Well, I'm still having the day. I can't tell how good it is. Malachi also says, "Ohanaeze always and bad advisor and failures." And Emmanuel Chudi says, "What is the man capping?" Now, you did talk to Dr. DG. They said, "What are you capping?" And they said, "This is the kind of people that keep urging these unconscionable politicians to carry on with transactional politics. How does all this transcend to development and progress? Dr. Deji, this person came with, hammer of this fight. Ini Udolfia says, what's this man saying? Good evening, just going here and there. Dorothy, Ike Charles, say Ohanaeze, you call them Nemo. Madragun Kema Column says, good day, precious. Biko, which Ohanaeze is this one? This must be private opinion of an individual. There is even basis for the advice. The case is still at the tribunal from BVI. And Stephen him says, ECOWAS will invade Niger Republic in just 3 days after the PEPT court announced the judgment day, which with these tactics, Tinubu will remain in power because you cannot sack him when the nation is at war. Is that what you people are saying? You guys can shout, cinco outside the box. Udo Lisa Franklin says, precious. Bueno. Okay, bueno. Is it night now? It's not night yet. All right. Buenos tardes. I said, precious, for me, I guess that Ohanaeze that said is factional. Although a majority in Igbo doesn't even regard the Ohanaeze, and for the president, I'm sure that he will do anything. And Paul says, good evening, precious. It's not about experience. We need somebody that can deliver, Peter Obi. That can deliver, and Peter Obi have the capacity to deliver, and that's what he's talking about. Then Udoliza then says, to remain in power, and for that, I don't even have any single trust in that our judiciary. Messages. Oh, sorry, Dr. Deji. Let me just run through a few more. Good evening, precious. On your special guest, you both are doing a great job. Please, I'm Babeji from Oshodi. My take this evening is 1. ECOWAS should first of all revisit, review, and re-examine African system of politics, democracy, leadership, and governance at large, and okay it before talking or saying planning to war the Niger Republic. As for those Ohanaeze, I think they are not the real Ohanaeze Ndibo, because by their suggestion we can dictate them. When everyone knows that the case is still in court, we mustn't go to war against Niger. Instead, let's start fighting those that are fighting Nigerians. And then Matthew from Ojo Alaba says, Tinubu is distracting himself. Is ECOWAS his primary responsibility? Is he aware some youth were kidnapped in Sokoto State? I even forgot that one, Saiful. What is he doing to secure their release? What about the farmers that were beheaded? That was such a gory thing. Don't remind me. Oh, hell. And he says, these are the real issues affecting us. I mean, how can we have this level of mayhem going on in our country? And okay. And then he says, is this the renewed hope promised? The president needs to wake up and secure the lives and property of Nigerians as he promised, or as he took an oath to do. What are his plans to end insecurity? We are tired of his ECOWAS meetings. Nigerians are yearning for a safe and secure country. That's what Matthew said. Matthew, he broke a table. Good evening, precious babe, and your guest. What former governor said is true. War against Niger is war against the North, because they don't know what Democrats is. Why don't we believe? Well, thank you. I appreciate you. And then please tell the listener that Libya prospered under military rule. Thank you. Okay, so Dr. Digi, for the person who asked your question and said which country has ever prospered under military rule, and this person said Libya prospered under military rule, but you still have right to respond to that question anyway. Ima from First Tag then says, great idea, and then says the Northerners have every reason to be worried by the rumors of wars in their beloved neighbors Niger. Ethnically and most importantly politically, makes you wonder why we have enormous numbers coming from the north during presidential election. They are used massively by politicians and helped to get Buhari to power, and supported by APCs and then even the sitting president. And it was as a result from the need to survive politically and maintain rulership as planned by some people in the northern politics and wanted to continue to earn from politics. They are the ones who made politics in the country transactional. Now, tables have turned. hiring heads during elections will be greatly affected. And then, good evening, Precious. My name is Kunle Major from Festac Town, and I want to thank you for this program. Wallahi. And of course, your guest has educated me, and I salute him. Wallahi. And please kindly bring him. And that man that called saying he has worked in the oil and airports in UAE. I know because of his space. Please, we need to hear more of him, please. Yes, I'm going to ensure that we get to hear from him. And he says, good evening, Precious, and your guest. Please, we're talking about democracy in Nigeria. Where there is much agitators in a country, the reason is that democracy is not working. Abi is working. Okay, the reason why there's a lot of agitation is because democracy is working. Yinka from Ifako Ijaye says, just like the analyst said, the current figure from INEC's tentative and the finality of the figures is subject to reconciliation by the judiciary. If the reconciliation of figures is done and other petitions before the judiciary are considered, we can have these possibilities. 1, outright declaration of a winner, which is unknown yet. 2, run off between the two tops. 3, rerun for many political parties if the election fails to meet the normal standard. So the measure of our alliance of LP and PDP and NPP may not be needed or necessary at the end after all. That's what you're saying. Oh, wow. You sent me a whole encyclopedia in here in your batter from Surulere. How do you want me to read all of this? You want to finish my eyes? He said, what Africa, especially Nigeria, needs is a benevolent dictator, either civilian or a junta. Now, he said the hood does not make the monk. The only way forward is to good governance is to reduce cost of governance. What waste money for us is Nigeria is not really the size of government officials, but the hyperinflated contracts, personal aggrandizement, racketeering, and our value system. The problems are the leaders, but more problem are the followers. The RAM facts should review allowances and salaries of government officials. And seriously, downwards, since they are taking care of taxpayers, they are taking care of from taxpayers' money, which is free money, free cook, free everything. He said then, for Nigeria, we have civilian regime, not democracy. Are you serious? Civilian regime. Our problems are highly systemic. That's what you said. Yeah, after sending all this encyclopedia, you worry my eyes. And then, good evening, Precious. From Alliance with APC, from Alliance with APC, Ohanaeze is not speaking from position of wisdom. I am disappointed. I fight against Niger, or a fight against Niger is a fight against the North. A fight against Boko Haram is a fight against the North. The North is the big baggage of Nigeria. Oh, well, you said a lot there. I better rest my case. Yeah. Okay, I think I took a message from you. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Dr. Digi, let me quickly let you respond so that I can go to my step-down conversation. Go ahead. Dr. Digi. Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So I tried to take note of the comments or the questions of the listeners.
Okay.
But I can't remember more than 2. So if there's any,
we don't even have much time. So if you could quickly respond to the ones that we have just less than 2 minutes for you to react.
Oh, okay. First, I think one person has helped me out as regards in Africa. Libya, Libya, you know, is one of the countries. If you in Europe, for example, Spain has long history of military dictatorship from 1923 to 1930, and from 1939. Take note, 1939 to 1975. Now, in the Americas, Bolivia, from 1964 to 1982. People can fact check. Brazil from 1930 to 1945. Then from 1964 to 1985. Then if I can just add one more, Chile from 1973 to 1990. These are nations that have a long history of military rule. So sometimes, you see, when you have a kind-hearted military, I believe democracy is still the best if practiced well. I need to clarify. I need to be clear on that. But you see, in Africa, What we have is pseudo-democracy. In other words, you say you are practicing democracy, but you don't give people the room of choice. You try to muzzle them up. They can't even choose who their leader is truly in a fair and fair election. That is pseudo-democracy. So in Africa, what we have most is pseudo-democracy, and the one we have in Nigeria, judicracy. Now,
what do you mean by judicracy?
Judicracy, government of the people, by the government for the people, by the judiciary. In other words, the election ends at the court, and instead of millions of Nigerians to determine who is their president now, the president of Nigeria is being determined by less than 15 men, and whatever they say is final. These men evolved from our society. They are not supermen in quote. So they have families. They are subject to influence. They have their political biases. So that is why institutions needs to be strong to make sure that the legitimacy is organic. That power truly evolves from the people. That is democracy. But if power evolves from the judiciary tomorrow, if I don't want to mention any state now. If the judiciary say no, you did not win, it's this person that win, that is final. In other words, the will of the people has been subject to the dictate of the judiciary. That is judicracy. Now, for want of time, one of your callers said, I didn't factor in Tinubu certificate issue or something. I believe that we have devoted listeners on your show, right? That is why whenever you bring me on board, I try to come up with fresh things. Because for the devoted listeners, if I don't come with something fresh, and if the topic is a developing topic, that means they'll just be listening to the same thing all over again and they get tired. So based on my expertise, I try to come with something new. So if the person that made the comment had always been listening to your show, I have spoken about the Tinubu certificate issue and how it affects Nigeria as regards governance, as regards neocolonialism, as regards dependency. I've spoken extensively on it on this particular program, I remember. But today, I brought a new perspective whereby I was talking about sovereignty as regards this Niger issue. Then I moved to legitimacy. Then I tried to assert that even ECOWAS should rename itself to political sustainability of West African countries, which should be SOAS, not ECOWAS, because the economic side, the economic dimension should be more than the political side. Politics should be a minor thing, but ECOWAS has not really benefited people in the sub-region economically. So I try to come up with this new perspective because I believe we have devoted listeners. So I think the person can go back and play, some of the tapes of the day you brought me on board on YouTube. I'm sure the person would be able to get those analyses extensively as regards the implication of the certificate saga of Tinubu and how the West can use that to begin to remote control Nigeria. I've spoken extensively on that. But if you bring me on board next time and you bring up, but I don't like to repeat the same thing. It's just me. I like to come up with something fresh. So that's
all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. DJ. I appreciate you. My phone lines are still buzzing, but let me just quickly let you go because after this few calls, we'll just go straight to a step down. I appreciate you, Dr. DJ. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye. Hello, good evening to you.
Says, forget this.
Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Welcome. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Very quickly, please.
I thought, am I on the right line?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
People. Okay, I wanted to contribute to the.
Go ahead. Just go ahead. You have less than 1 minute to do that. Go ahead. You're on the line.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just want to talk of this minister said they are giving postponers. That I wonder why the celebration, because they are called to work. Is this celebration not as attitude of come and loot the country? Because it's a work. If I can compare how these people work here in UK, they don't celebrate it, it's a work. Like councillor here,
all right.
you see him working.
I appreciate you, even though we don't have that in our conversation, and your background is very noisy, so I may have to let you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me run through some messages very quickly. This is if no country have progressed with military rule, now tell me, has Nigeria progressed with their civilian rule? Amobi from Jao Estate, I think so, sent that message. Mazi Chinedu Agbaoso from Imota Ikorodu says, good evening, VOP. Precious, please, too much talk, na lie. Take it or leave it. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu remains the solution of Nigeria. Well, like, Kai. You guys will not kill me. You can know how to just whine me like this, all of you. Oh, let me go back to my phone lines. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, Precious.
Yes, good evening.
How are you?
I'm very fine,
good evening.
Thank
you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Please
I know that I'm behind. Ola.
Oh, Mr. Ola, Mr. Darlington's 101% love. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
You're welcome. I know I'm behind your show because I listen to you through my phone. I just have quick statement to make. Look, Precious, people who are dying in Nigeria, they are more than people who are dying in a war-torn country. Let's say like Ukraine, Somalia, all those countries. People who are dying in Nigeria more than those countries. Okay, I got question for your guest.
Well, my guest is already off, so he may not answer you, but just go ahead. Yes.
Tinubu is the president of, chairman of ECOWAS, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Does he not have right to say, look, the war you are taking to Niger, as a chairman, my country did not support me to authorize this war. So don't let us do it. Is it not possible? That's my question.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, and bye. Okay, so Lagos, let's just go straight to our step down conversation. But our step down conversation is a bit politics related. However, but religious, right? So okay, so Pastor Kumuyi, the general overseer of the Deeper Christian Life Ministry, has said that God will build Nigeria through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And a lot of people are just coming and saying, I was like, men of God should face spiritualism and the church and forget about politics. So we're saying that are men of God barred from talking about politics, especially considering how politics, how we have seen them intervene or said a lot in politics in, not just recent times, but since we started democracy. Abi, should they kukuma pack their load and just remain in church? Or do they have the right to also talk about politics? Let's just, use that to step down because we do not have much time. We'll open the phone lines so that after this conversation, and I'll let you in fully on what Pastor Kumuyi said, right? After this break, Lagos, stay with us. This is still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos, number 42, Muritala Muhammad International Airport Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in a beautifully appointed rooms featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your everyday need is met. We also offer complimentary pick-up and drop-off from the Lagos airport.
Take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant.
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, Lagos is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So, why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets
Aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Light Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender greeters, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never say.
All right, Lagos, you are welcome back. It's still 90.3 Voice of the People FM. So let's, we're supposed to be resting from politics, right? But unfortunately, this has still got a little thing to do with politics, but more of religion, right? So the General Overseer of Deeper Life Church, Pastor Williams Kumuyi, said Nigerians should be rest assured that God will rebuild Nigeria and the nation through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In fact, he was speaking in Osogbo today, Osun State, today, August 22nd. And he said, let's forget about the past. This is a new day. And I believe we all believe that we're going to see new things for our country through our president and through the members of the cabinet. Good things will happen. Well, that's what the pastor said. And he said, if you look at the new ministers one by one, you will see the good things they've done, either as state governors of the past or as former ministers. And I would say that they have been carefully chosen. Oh, wow. If we support and accept them, and if we are not criticizing their every step, we believe that God will walk through them and use them as instruments to build a nation. Kumuyi said, God will perform a miracle in the heart of our leaders, and their hearts will be towards the people, and the wisdom to lead us and do everything that will benefit us as a country. The Lord himself will do it in their hearts. A lot of people are already saying, oh, you mentioned this about Buhari too. Oh, you mentioned this. And then people are just saying, you know what? We're tired of pastors predicting and telling us about our leaders. I think it's time that our leaders, the religious leaders take their hands off politics generally. And others are saying, religion should be integral part of also, politics should be integral part of religion too. After all, people who go to church and who go to mosque are the ones who, go to the polls at the end of the day. So my question this evening is, do you think that it is out of point for the man of God to speak very highly of the president and the new ministers? Or should men of God not just be talking about politics? I didn't know in this country. We're just having a step down, relaxed conversation. These are our beer parlor talk. Don't take us personal, right? Phone lines are open, Lagos 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Let's just take your thoughts on this. Hello, good evening to you. Hello, good evening. Yeah, the WhatsApp line is also open, so you can also call the WhatsApp.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Welcome. Go ahead. You see, you're welcome. Go ahead. So you see, go ahead. We can hear you. What's your take?
In the fight, Ghana must go money. I think when the fight.
Why can you say that? You see, no way now.
I think when the fight, nothing else.
No, you see, that's not fair.
Now so then they talk every time. They will come, they give us.
But I did ask a question. I didn't ask you to analyze what he said. I just asked, do you think that men of God should stay away from telling us things about political leaders?
They should stay away.
Or they should go ahead because, we believe them before we believe any other person.
They should stay away from telling us
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Not in back tell us, good luck, my bad luck. My Buhari be Messiah.
Thank you. Don't the carriers go where we know now? Thank you.
I think what happened now.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, let me go quickly to my WhatsApp messages. So maybe WhatsApp will be a saner place to be. Mark from Agege says, good evening, ma'am. God will use Tinubu to build Nigeria. And you laugh and fall your cat on the floor with emoji. And then he said, Pastor Kumuyi might be talking about the God of the stomach. The same Pastor Kumuyi that said that that TV is the devil's box. These pastors should sit this one out. That's what you said. And then this says after rigging election, who rigged? And he said from Kumuyi to Mbaka etc. I am seriously in doubt of what they are saying. Whenever you hear the word of God through His chosen ones, it's undisputable. Unlike what happens when men of God you say they are political pastors. May God. He say, men of God don't speak like this. You see from Ijeoma. See, the question I ask, people are not even attending to it. People are just carrying me to go to where I don't know. Maybe I gave you a direction and angle to this conversation. I saw other angles, but I decided to choose the angle I choose. Abi? And then he says, good evening, precious. The people that are defending Niger people now are not the same. Well, we're done with Niger. We don't leave that Niger boat since. Good evening, Madam Host. My name is Naemeka. Please, that... Okay, here. Oh, precious, please. All those so-called Nigerian pastors, leave Nigerian. Okay, he said they should leave Nigerian pastors alone. They should leave what? Nigerian politics alone, right? He said they should leave Nigerian politics alone. They're spoiling Christianity for us. So, away. He never reached like that. Now, precious. This man called pastor is he made a lot of people not to have television in their houses. Hey, does that in any way invalidate what he's saying? All right. And he says, good evening, precious. They will castigate the man because he did not say it's Peter Obi that we build the nation. Because he did not say it's Peter Obi that will build the nation. That's why they're castigating him, right? Oh, precious, I thought you should have taken us away from politics again. All these people are becoming political jobbers. He is looking for settlement. Okosisi from Surulere. I'm sorry I didn't take you away from politics because this is just a fresh. And meanwhile, I was not even looking at it from political point. I was looking at it from should our men of God stay away from political talks or should, they be involved in it? I didn't know that our people will carry me to where I don't know. Okay. All right. And this says, good evening, precious. Pastors have right to air their views in politics, but I'm disappointed in them when they involve God in their political views. In fact, men of God are more problems of Nigeria than the politicians. Hey, Casey from heaven. Casey all the way from heaven. So the thing is, I do agree that men of God should actually have a say. They're citizens of the country and they. But is it also necessary for them to say, just like we said, is that God will do this? You know that whenever we hear our men of God speak and say God will, we take it hook, line, and sinker. So should that be the case? Let me go back to my phone lines. Hello, good evening. Hello? Is somebody there? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, precious Judicracy.
Nedu. How many times did I call you? Nedu? I didn't hear that. What does that mean? Go ahead. I don't want to ask you where you're calling from. Nedu, you've not been joining my Facebook Live, have you? Why? I'm going to send you the link personally to the YouTube. There's some conversation today that you need to hear. I had a conversation with a guest today that you really need to hear that conversation. He shook a lot of tables, like he scattered tables. And there was something he said. My mouth not let me talk that thing for radio. Thank God saying that for social media we talk him. You need to hear it. I'll send you the link to YouTube. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Go ahead.
I bet watching Kumo talk.
I don't read them before now. Why you ask me again now?
I won't make you use them.
I know they read them again. I don't talk and finish. I do make a come you for this line, pick another call. Why you ask me again? You're wasting my time.
I want one thing you have to know, as Africa is concerned, I write it down. I may talk with my hand is on my chest this year. 98% of men of God in Africa, God no call them. They call themselves. They are rich. They care about themselves. We are talking about government. These people don't care about their even church members. who are impoverished. The poverty we are facing today are churchgoer, Muslim, and all other religion, what they call them, who give offerings to their religious leaders. And these people are enriching themselves, having private jets, multiple cars, even those things they don't use. And the poor ones are being convinced every day to sacrifice, just like the government is telling you to sacrifice, and they are putting tokens to go for holiday. This is the way the religious leaders are
it's
telling
enough.
their
Come and be
members
going.
to
Come and be
sacrifice.
going. Come and be going. Thank you.
Just nothing like, I'm just telling you, 98% of them, God know near their
How you take
calling.
no? Do you get God phone number? He asked God. Did you inquire from God? What is the evidence? Did you record the call? Play it for us if you recorded it.
Their characters. When a man of God will build a school and church members cannot afford to go to that school, and you tell me God called them.
Don't they carry us go where we know? I need to come and be going. Bye. Thank you.
God
so much.
no call these people.
Bye. Bye. I see you on Instagram. Bye. Hello, good evening to you. Yes, welcome. Go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Very quickly.
I'm calling from Kenya.
Go ahead very quickly.
You see, Pastor, all these things that these pastors are professing about Nigeria is all fake. We have heard a lot of them. So nobody will listen for this one that the community has come out with now. So I beg, make you keep the prophecy. We don't need it for now.
Oh, okay. No. Ordinary prophecy now, don't they vex on now. Why not they do like this now? Now they vex quick. Oh.
No vex.
All right, bye. Take care, bye. All right, Chibogo Obi says, Precious, good evening, ma. You see, this Pastor Kumuyi, it's just annoying me, seriously. I'm a minister of God and I believe in Pastor Kumuyi, so do fellowship in his church. So I do fellowship in his church and as a member, but I totally disagree with him vehemently. Fact, I'm annoyed by this statement. He has said something similar during Buhari, but what did we see at the end? The duty of a man of God is to condemn the evil. Which evil? Maybe no see evil, not be evil where you see now you go condemn. Who no see evil, no go condemn evil now. Why are you talking like this? Let me quickly read through this. Very quickly. All right. So this says, Blessed says, greetings, pretty precious. Please, people are praying for jobs, but church full everywhere. Why can't they convert those churches to factories? You go help them, teach them the way now. And then it says, my love, doing a great job from Ben. Hey, okay, this is the love that gave me 101%. Thank you, I appreciate you. Precious, on your step down discussion tonight, it's really sad that since PBAT has come on stage, it's becoming clearer that everyone has a prize. The irony of this is making life worthless. Let the religious leaders stay clear, please, because they have not helped our plight. Simisola sent this from his solo. And then this says, the pastors, every man of God have right to involve in politics or be involved. They are citizens of the country and they have total right to vote and be voted for. That's what you said. Of course they do. And I just mentioned that. Good evening, Precious. Comrade Peterson says, forget those in the name of pastor. Don't allow me to say something. I do not even say that in that you know that I will not like. Peter from a cartoon says, good evening, VOP. Since Nigeria are hypocrites because of the man of God speaks in favor of the candidates of their choice, it's good. But if he speaks against the candidates of their choice and speaks against another one, it becomes an offense. When their candidate was campaigning on many pulpits and pastors, why didn't they say anything? All right. Laura from Egbeda says, Mr. Kumuyi, I wonder if God is now partisan. You guys. Good evening. Please send me the link to your Facebook. Thanks. I would do. How do I send that to you now? Okay. Tomorrow you get. Tomorrow will you get the link? You know what? Remind me to send you this message tomorrow. So the reason I'm sending this to Niri is because he follows me on Instagram. So you can go and follow me on Instagram, right? Yeah. So follow me on Instagram. I'm cutting it and sending it to YouTube. So I'll send you the YouTube link. So just follow me on Instagram or follow me on Facebook, better still, at Precious Enyi. That's easier. On Instagram, I'm at Precious Enyi Official. Precious Enyi Official. And this is Thanks Emperor from Ajoyce. It says, good evening, Precious. Hope you're good. I am just waiting to hear from Oga Edu from Switzerland. I am still interested in the Tino. I don't tell Amo. He will get back to me. I hope so. Egege from Agege says, see, Nigerian predicament is mainly connected to national representatives or judiciary. The reason why most Nigerians in truth-based in center. This is away from our discussion. Apologies. I have to fly off. Precious. Who are the men of God? Are they speaking for God or speaking from God? They should leave politics alone. All the prophecy about election failed. I don't trust them anymore. Mike from Isolo sent in that message. Calm down. I don't believe Pastor Kumi said this. In any case, if he did, it is his personal opinion, which I think he's entitled to. The problem is we think us interpret everything a servant of God says like it is sent from God. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Okay, all right, and I appreciate you. Good evening, Precious. Omar from Alimosho says, thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak our mind, but our voices are limited here. Please kindly send your Facebook link to me. Thanks. My name is Precious Enyi on Facebook. Just look out for me and you see my pretty face and go and follow here. Please, what's the spelling of your name? Precious. You know how you spell Precious? Then A is E-N-Y-I. All right, Lagos, this is where we'll draw the curtain today. Thank you so much for everyone who's been a part of the show. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, we do this again, right? Tomorrow is what? Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll have another guest, or perhaps you and me will have this conversation tomorrow. Have yourself an amazing evening. On Instagram, I'm at Precious Enyi Official. Twitter, I'm at Precious_Enyi. Instagram, I'm at, did I say Instagram? Precious Enyi Official, right? Facebook is at Precious Enyi. And this show is being produced by Promise. Reach her on Facebook at Promise Enyi. And then on Instagram, she's at Zinefab. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Have an amazing evening.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodation